Oh boy, here we go. Now it's United Airlines. Let's take a look. Following Peacock fiasco, United Airlines tightens policy for comfort animals. United Airlines updated its policy Thursday dealing with emotional support animals, echoing Delta Airlines in requiring documentation about the animal's health and training. United had been reviewing its policy since late last year after a 75% increase in emotional support animals on flights and a significant increase in onboard incidents. The number of comfort animals flying on the airline jumped from 43,000 in 2016 to 76,000 last year, according to Charlie Hobart, a United spokesman. United's update coincided with an incident Sunday when the carrier refused to accept a peacock named Dexter aboard a flight from Newark to Los Angeles. The peacock was rejected under the airline's previous policy for health and safety reasons. The old policy was in place, and that policy prevented Dexter, the peacock, from boarding the aircraft. The policy worked as intended, Hobart said. That wasn't policy, that's Air Carrier Access Act guidelines. With all of the commotion regarding the peacock, that has sort of crystallized to our employees and customers why we need to further enhance this policy. Again, the guidelines that kept the peacock off the flight was Air Carrier Access Act regulations, not their policy, just to be clear. And here's a tweet from Austin Fast. United Airlines prohibits performance artist from bringing emotional support peacock on flight. She's now road tripping cross country instead. United's added restrictions take effect on flights starting March 1, the same day as Delta, which announced its update January 19th. Delta, which transported 250,000 trained service or untrained emotional support animals last year, had a comfort dog bite a passenger in the face in June while boarding a flight from Atlanta to San Diego. American Airlines, who will be next, is also reviewing its policy after seeing a 15% increase in comfort animals last year. Like I said, everybody's going to follow suit. Everybody, all the major airlines are going to follow suit. Unfortunately, untrained animals can lead to safety issues for our team, our passengers, and working dogs on board our aircraft, American spokesman Ross Feinstein said Wednesday. We agree with Delta's efforts and will continue to support the rights of customers, from veterans to people with disabilities with legitimate needs. Each of the three largest airlines requires notification about a comfort animal 48 hours before departure, with a note from a licensed medical professional confirming the passenger's disability and need for the animal. Again, that's not their policy, that's Air Carrier Access Act regulations. United joined Delta in requiring notes that confirm the animal's health from a veterinarian and that confirm the animal's training to behave in a public setting to avoid problems with urination or defecation during the flight. We've been reviewing the policy for some time, Hobart said. It's up to the airlines to take the lead here. No, it's not. United consulted with its Accessible Travel Advisory Board and several of its employee groups in developing the policy along with feedback from passengers. The airlines increased requirements for emotional support animals and psychiatric service animals, because they're lumped in the same, will reduce fraud and protect the legitimate need of animal assistance for passengers with disabilities and veterans. Hate to tell you guys, PTSD dogs are psychiatric service dogs. Hate to tell you that. Said Sarah Nelson, international president of the Association of Flight Attendants, CWA. This is about maintaining safety, health, and security for passengers and crew while ensuring accessibility for those who need it. Airlines for America, a trade group representing most of the largest carriers, urged the department in a letter Wednesday to revise its policies comprehensively for all carriers. During the past several years, but in particular during the recent holidays, airlines have experienced a surge in passengers bringing animals on board that haven't been appropriately trained as service animals. Sharon Pinkerton, the group's senior vice president for policy, told the department. This has resulted in our crew members and passengers being bitten and subjected to other offensive and injurious behavior. Hello. ACEs are not required to be trained. I think they should be, but they're not currently. So they don't have to be trained as service animals to go on a flight. Again, Air Carrier Access Act regulations. Airlines have begun adopting their own changes after months of negotiations in 2016 by a department panel of experts failed to reach a consensus. The department missed a congressional deadline of July 2017 to release a proposal about possible changes in the animal policy. The department now plans a proposal by July. Confusion stems from different ways animals are treated on planes. The policy debate isn't about pets in kennels, but about animals without cages accompanying passengers in plane cabins. By the way, if the Department of Transportation is going to release a proposal in July, we need to be on that. Just FYI, everybody, we need to be on top of that. As soon as I find out about it, I'll let you guys know. Then we need to be on this. We need to protect psychiatric service animals and differentiate them from ACEs. We just have to. The Americans with Disabilities Act allows dogs and miniature horses to fly as trained service animals for disabled passengers such as the blind or deaf. The Air Carrier Access Act calls for a wider range or a wider variety of animals to assist disabled passengers. Animals such as pigs and monkeys are considered on a case-by-case basis. Department guidance from 2003 prohibits reptiles, rodents, and spiders as emotional support animals, also exotic species, exotic animals. Other animals that are allowed can't block aisles or evacuation routes or bother other passengers. Delta and United have expanded the list of prohibited animals to include hedgehogs, ferrets, possums, known as sugar gliders, and non-household birds. That's Air Carrier Access Act regulations. But factions on all sides of the debate are calling for a comprehensive update from the department to clarify rules for what is allowed. DOT has an opportunity to review service animal guidance that strikes the right balance between ensuring passengers with a disability are accommodated in air travel and protecting the health and safety of all passengers and crew. And we urge DOT is Department of Transportation, to act expeditiously, Pinkerton said. We are committed to finding solutions. So basically everything they claimed was their policy. Air Carrier Access Act regulations. It's in the regulations, which allowed them to do these things. It wasn't their policy. Their policy against the law doesn't mean diddly squat. So, needless to say, I'm pissed. How this differs, and Delta Airlines is bad enough, but how this differs from Delta Airlines is they are leveraging this extra paperwork only against emotional support animals. But since emotional support animals and psychiatric service animals have been lumped together, that means those with perfectly trained psychiatric service dogs are going to fall under this. And we're going to have to provide extra documentation. And I looked on their site to see if I could view the forms that they're wanting, and those are not currently up. But they say they want a veterinarian's health certificate. Well, like I've said before, I take care of routine shots, worming, all that preventative health care I take care of at home. The only thing I don't take care of, because law dictates that I can't, is rabies. I will go to a vet for rabies, and like everybody else, I get a rabies certificate for having the rabies shot. That is the only vet provided documentation I have. Now, I could try to go to the vet with records that I did this stuff at home, and some vets will accept that, no problem. Other vets, because they want to make more money, they're not going to accept that, and they're going to want to revaccinate your dog. Over vaccinating your dog leads to health problems for your dog. I won't have it for my dogs. I won't risk it. I won't have it. So if the vet doesn't want to accept what I do at home, then I'm dead in the water, because I am not going to over vaccinate my dogs. I'm also not going to pay good money to a vet to do something that I can do at home myself. I know how to do the shots. I know how to have them shipped in. I do all of the same things that the vets do, except the vets may have a digital thermometer in their shot, vaccination package, because they buy hundreds and hundreds at one time. I don't have the digital thermometer in my package, but otherwise I do everything exactly the same as the vets do it. So there is no reason that, being low income as I am already, struggling with money as it is already, that I need to pay more for the same thing that I can do at home. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. And and this discriminates against those with properly trained psychiatric service animals. I'm just hostile. I'm just mad. Look in the description for a link to the ACAA complaint site. If this pisses you off too, I'll put the link down there. Go make a complaint. As a future air traveler, go make a complaint. They need to hear that this is not okay. Oh, I'm livid. I'm hostile. Anyway, till next video. Bye.